Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the what are we going to call this? The Release the Quacken Holiday Spectacular. Lonnie, does that sound good? Is that what we're?
Yeah, that works for me, man. There'll be song, there'll be dance, epic finale. Let's make it happen.
Is this going to be like one of the ones where we're all sitting on the couch around the fireplace and oh look, our friends are coming. Who's at the door? And we could have some random musical guests show up and.
Oh yeah, just pop in. They'll say something, pop out. Yeah, yes, it works for me.
So we're just kind of winging it tonight. It's just me and Lonnie here for a while. Jody may stop in here, our friend that we were speaking of soon. I'm not sure if she can make it over or not, but if she does, we'll throw her into the feed as well. But this will be the last episode we have prior to kicking into Release the Quacken before Disneyland. So we are going to see how that goes and go from there. Let's start, Lonnie, with the training calendar. What did we have last week on the calendar? What did you do, since we know the rest of us did not?
Okay. So this was week 14 of the Disneyland Dumbo challenge. So Tuesday, Thursday is our traditional 30 to 45 minute maintenance runs. Saturday, there was a 4-miler, and today a 12.5. Personally, I did a little bit. So I did my 2 maintenance ones. I also tried something different. So on Thursday, because I always shifted the day, right? So I did my long run on Saturday, but on Thursday I went for a hike. I saw this workout. I wanted to try it. It was 30 minutes, a 10 grade on the treadmill at 3 miles an hour. I did that, but I did at 3.5 miles. Man, got a really good sweat in. Usually I don't even sweat like that. But you can tell it did something. But I was stupid, because then the next day I did my 4-miler, and Saturday I did 11. So I didn't do the 12.5. 11's good for me. I'm officially in my taper.
Have you left a taper? I mean, you've been in taper since marathon weekend, right?
Oh yeah, but I left the taper to do this.
No.
Just to show, because number one, I just want to let everybody know that, this training plan is not the boss of me. So I came back to show it that I can do what I want to do. And then I'm going right back to the taper. So tapered for the previous, 8-9 weeks, came out of retirement, a taper retirement to do this. And now I'm back in full taper retirement until Disneyland.
Sounds good. So what's on the calendar for the rest of the week? What do we got training wise coming up for the rest of the week?
Taper.
for those who are not in taper mode.
For those who listen to what the sheet tells you, there are 3 runs this week, 2 maintenance runs of 30 to 45 minutes, and a 4-miler with a magic mile. That's your long run. So we're good to go on that one. And then the next week, we have the 2 30s to or 45 minutes for week 16. Then we have a 5-miler on Saturday and a 14-miler on Sunday, if you're following the actual plan. But like I said, this plan it's not the boss of me, so I won't be following it.
Oh, well, looky there, Ronnie. It's just like the doorbell ringing. Who's our special guest?
Let's go see. Who's our special guest? Hey, Jody.
Jody, come on in. Have a seat. We're friends.
Hi. I don't know that I'm your special guest, but I'm here.
This is our.
And she bought fruitcake. Yeah, she bought fruitcake.
I did.
Thank you, Jody.
This is the Christmas Spectacular. So when the friends show up, they have to sing songs. So the floor is yours, Jody. Go ahead.
I don't know that you want me singing. I think everybody will run away.
Well, that's the purpose. We're trying to get them to run more.
That is true. Although I just was listening to the 321 podcast, and they had a guy on who said that if you sing when you run, it lifts your spirit. So if you're feeling like that you can't do it, turn on a song that you like and start singing, and it's supposed to make you feel better and make you keep going.
Who has enough wind to be able to sing when they run?
That was what they were saying, is that if you can sing, then you can breathe, and if you can breathe, then you can run. So
I don't think I could sing well. The breathing is just plenty for me.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I've been known to dance when I run. I do a lot of backstroke. Ask him, it drives him crazy. But
I'll be running down the street doing some gangster rap. Yeah, yelling it all loud running down the street. Neighbors will be outside like, what did he say?
Just keeping it real. Just keeping it real.
So Jody, we just started talking about what Lonnie ran last week and what's coming up for the rest of the taper throughout, since this will be our last RTQ prior to actually leaving because of the holidays and marathon weekend coming up. So you're onto your goofy schedule. So how did you do this week? What do you got going on?
I did 12 on Friday and 24 on Saturday.
On purpose?
On purpose.
Was
yes.
somebody chasing you? Do you need help?
I didn't go fast. No one said
Did
I
you get
fast.
lost and just have to run that to get home or something? What happened?
No, but what's funny is my 24, I did run home often because I had to run home one time to let the dog out and feed her breakfast. And then I had to run home another time because Landon wasn't answering his phone and he had basketball practice and Tim was at the gym and I was worried that he wasn't awake. He just wasn't answering his phone. And then I ran home another time because the boys were getting ready to leave for Green Bay and I wanted to say goodbye to them before they left. So if you look at my map, I didn't go very far for running 24 miles. I kind of went in the same little tiny like radius over and over and over again. So,
well, but now it's official. We know who let the dogs out. It was you.
It was me
In the middle of your
dog.
run.
Yeah, I let
There you go.
her out. So,
Okay.
yeah, so I won't be doing 14 this weekend. Is that what I heard you had to do? Or is that what you're planning on doing?
That's for not next week, but the following week or the last one. So week 16, the long run calls for the 14, which, with the Jeff Galloway plans, he always wants to go past the distance just to let you know that you can actually make that.
Right.
But I started my taper. So yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm one that, don't get me wrong, I see, Jeff's way more experienced than I am, right? He is a Olympian. He's done this. He's come up with this training plan. I find for me in my training, I can stop around 12, at the longest 11, for doing a half. And Disney Magic and everything else gets me through. Pixie Dust. So 11 is enough for me. I did the 11 and I'm done.
I'm with you. I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was funny because this was sim weekend for Dopey and Goofy. We were all supposed to do our last simulation. And Joe Fickus was like, oh, I guess for those of us who are going to Disneyland should technically do a 5K, 10K and half next weekend. And I was like, go ahead, Joe. I'm not doing that. Like, nope, not doing it. Like I think I'm going to be okay. So The good news is the last time I did a long run, I had this serious lower back pain afterwards. I don't know what was going on with it. And I felt totally fine yesterday and today. So have no idea why or how, what the difference was, but I don't know. So.
That's a good thing you brought up. Not the fact that you had back pain. I'm glad you don't now. But I find when you're doing something, you're training for so long for like a Goofy or a Dopey, the first couple of times I did it, once you get closer to the end, you start to have these little nags and pains and you start to panic. I don't know if it's my nerves or something else, but after a while, it's kind of, once you get there, it'll kind of work itself out. So if you're getting nervous about some of that kind of stuff, just like Jody did, she went out, she did her run and it all worked out after that. So don't let your nerves or your body kind of tells you that, hey, something's wrong. It might not be wrong.
Trust the training that you went through. You don't have to hit every single run. You don't have to hit every single mile. Your body is more in tune than what you think it is. If you've hit a majority of them, trust the training when you get down there. The excitement, the adrenaline, everything else will help carry you through for sure.
Yeah,
so
that is definitely the case. Friends will get you through. That's without a doubt. So, and I also learned, did you guys know that there's 3 points of entertainment on every mile at Run Disney races?
I did not know that. 3?
That was something else I picked up, that apparently that's what they said, that every mile there's supposed to be 3 different points, whether it's a character, music, or something to see. That I'm telling you, that's what they said. The guy from Jeff is completely shaking his head no.
You cannot tell me on Western Way there was 3 points of entertainment during the marathon. The giant pieces of cheese was one. Watching Gene cramp up might have been the second one, but there was not a third.
Yeah, but once you get out there, man, that's no man's land. So, I mean, that's not
maybe there were 18 and none of us knew, but because we were all so delirious.
Exactly. Once you pass that and you get to Swiss Cheese Alley, you don't know what's going on. And you're just fighting for your life. You don't know. And I'm sure there's not 3 right in front of the boardwalk, because unless you count the quiet please sign, that might be entertainment. But yeah,
don't forget Figgy spray and orange spray right in your mouth.
Yeah, that's borderline on what he's doing.
Is that considered entertaining?
For him, it is. For him, it is. Everybody else is victimized by it, but
So where did you hear this, Jody? 3 points of every mile.
So again, I was because I ran so many miles this week, I listened to a lot of different podcasts. And so that was on the 321 podcast. And they had maybe Mark Ferreira is his name, who's in charge of Run Disney Entertainment. I could be making that name up, so I'm sorry if I am. But anyway.
Don't worry about it. He made up that stat. So I mean, you can do that.
So now I feel like I guess the first 5K, because I feel like I can keep track in a 5K. But when we go to Disneyland, I'm going to be really like, oh, are there 3 every mile? Because there's no way I'm going to remember that for a full marathon. But I think for a 5K, I could count. I could count that much 3 times. 3 times times 3 miles. I could do that math. But so I'll be curious if that's true.
I do remember when we took off for the marathon. I remember saying, "Wow, this first character stop is really quick." Right? I mean, they had characters like literally maybe 400 yards away from the starting line. So I can see that. And they had one right before you start to turn again, and then there was Jeff running into the woods. That's character stop, but I wouldn't suggest you go to that one. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, that kind of stuff. But still, so yeah, I can see that maybe. But yeah, that
most miles. But
yeah,
I can't imagine every mile has 3 points of entertainment.
Maybe they count the mile marker as a point of entertainment too, because usually there's some music there, right? And you stop and take a picture. True. So maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just an interesting, again, learning all sorts of interesting things on these. I could be hallucinating. I don't know, because that's a lot of miles this weekend, so I could be getting things completely wrong. But
now, did you see cheese on the road?
I did not see any cheese.
Okay, so you weren't hallucinating. You're good. You're good.
No.
I think John's the only one that envisions cheese whenever we're hallucinating it.
Well,
Tim totally thought it was cheese.
He thought it was cheese?
Oh, absolutely, positively, 100% thought it was cheese.
I thought he was just making fun of John.
No. Tim completely thought it was cheese.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, in the full marathon in Disney World, it's been hot the last 2 years, and they've been kind enough to pass out wet sponges that are orange in color and look like plastic American cheese in the wrapper from afar. And a few people thought that's what it was. So my husband, being one of them, thought they were passing out cheese, but no, it was sponge. It was a sponge that my best advice is don't get rid of your sponge. Hold on to it. Keep wetting it down. Keep using it the rest of the time. Like, that's not a one and done use. Like,
nope,
there's so many people discard their sponges. Don't discard them. Hold on to them.
Yep. Yeah. Anytime they have water, re-rut your sponge, and you can use a Powerade, but it gets a little sticky.
Probably.
Yeah. That's very good advice with the sponge.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Don't eat it.
No, don't. I don't think it would taste very good. It's pretty sweaty and gross.
Yeah. So Jody, are you excited about going down to Disney? I mean, you're the first one running, I guess, our set races. You're going down to Walt Disney World. Are you excited for Goofy?
I am super excited for it. For lots of reasons. I can't wait to see. There's I feel like there's a set of friends going to California, and there's a set of friends going to Florida, and there's not a lot of people doing both. So I'm excited to see different people. It's going to be different. I think I've shared that our kids are going with us, and that is going to be a whole different, we don't get to go do, we went to, sorry, the dog just bumped into me. We don't get to go to a lot of the Lizard meetups because we have them and they want to kind of do the things that they want to do. So that's going to be a little bit of a bummer. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be, I'm just praying that it's not as hot as it's been the last 2 years. Yeah. I don't like heat.
No, and it takes longer to recover, and especially when you have to go the next week to California, you don't have to still be recovering. And I guess the key is, if you are doing it, and I know you're doing it, Jody, you're a seasoned runner, is right now, and even as you go through the holidays, just make sure you're consistently drinking more and more water to kind of hydrate. Adult beverages are nice, but that's not hydrating, right? So you want to make sure you're hydrating extra before you go there, because you never know if it's really hot, right? If it's hot, you never know.
I think another good thing for everybody to do is make sure you're taking your vitamins or your airborne or any of that stuff. Like I know during this time of the year, there's all sorts of stuff going around, and I'm just being crazy about washing my hands a million times and taking a couple of extra vitamins that I normally do just to try to give any sort of protection that I can, because I just don't want to get sick. Like, I'm so scared of getting sick. So, but
And use that as an excuse not to see the in-laws. I mean, you can just say, "Hey, I got a race coming up in 2 weeks, and we can't
I
come
have
over."
one in-law, only one.
Eh,
No, and Tim's an only child, so I don't have any. There's nobody else.
You going?
And she's 94, so I can't really say like we're not going to see you. So
so maybe it doesn't apply to you, but for the other ones out there, just you know,
yeah, there you go.
you go have fun. I'm sorry, I can't risk getting sick. We have too much money put into this. I'll stay home and watch football.
Yeah, or you can just get sick and go run it anyway. That's not the wisest thing, but
That worked out well for everybody last year.
Well, depending on what you want to say, worked out well. Define well. I don't know if it did, but hey, it is what it is.
I will tell you something I learned yesterday that was kind of a duh moment. After my 24, Lindsay and I had a fun evening last night. We went to dinner, and then we went and got rush tickets to our the Broadway touring production of Mrs. Doubtfire, which means 2 hours before the show, the tickets were 50% off. So that was awesome. Mm-hmm. But I was kind of dressed up and looked nice. And I would tell you, after sitting in the theater, getting up, my feet were so swollen and so sore because I hadn't put on compression socks, right? So I'm like, oh my gosh, I already have them on my list of things to pack because we're flying home Sunday night after the marathon. So desperately have to have those compression socks because I just was surprised how swollen I got from that. But I had on nicer shoes and nicer clothes, and we didn't walk far downtown, but we had walked a couple of blocks. So I was like, oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
That is good. It's amazing how much those compression socks help. Especially if you're turning around flying, you're going to be sitting for a long period of time. Yeah. The recovery on that makes a big difference.
Yeah. And if you are flying home, I know that there's several schools of thoughts on it. I've flown home after the halves, and I've flown home after the full many a times. As long as, once you take off, just kind of get up when the pilot, let you get up, just walk to the back, even if you have to go to the restroom, just every so often, if the light's off, or you can actually get up, just walk a little bit, just keep the circulation going. That kind of helps out a little bit as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look at us giving tips.
Right.
I didn't show up for this. I showed up to make fun of somebody, and Gene's not even here for me to do
it.
He's
not here. We can't.
Yeah. Right now he's not. He's probably has sackcloth on and ashes and probably mourning.
Yeah. It was a rough afternoon for Gene. It was a really ugly game for the Cowboys.
Yeah. He's not gonna be wearing his chain or anything. I could just see it.
No. But it's helping the Bills get into the playoffs.
Oh yeah. I didn't want to see the Bills again, but yeah.
No, not the way they're playing right now. But so
I apologize if I missed it earlier. But how did your training runs go earlier? Everybody good? On track, doing what they're supposed to be doing?
Jeff?
Yep, I didn't do anything, so I'm good to walk the 5K at about a 90-minute pace. We should be good to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did all my runs this week. I actually inserted a hike. I was telling Jeff. So something I saw to do on the treadmill, 3 miles at 10% incline, 3 miles an hour. I just went 3.5 at the 10. Got a really good workout did that on Thursday. Did my 4 miles on Friday, and Saturday I did 11. And I was supposed to do 12.5, but like I told Jeff, Jeff Galloway is not the boss of me. I'm doing 11, and that's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I do respect you. Don't think I don't respect you. I really do, Mr. Galloway. In fact, we would love to have you on a future episode. But in case somebody tells him don't listen to them, put that plug in.
And I also I realized that time on feet is even Disneyland, where everyone's kind of like, oh, it's just 3 races. I'm like, it's still 3 races, and it's still 3 days in the that we're waking up early and running. And I think even more so, we'll probably be hitting the parks harder because it's Disneyland and we don't get out there as much. So we're Disney World. We're like, it's okay if we don't go on Soarin'. We've done Soarin' 15 times. Out there, we're going to be like, we got to do Soarin' because it's Soarin' over California. So I've been really trying to make sure that I'm spending more time on my feet while at the house. Like I've been taking my laptop and standing at different places when I'm trying to get some work done. And I've been wrapping gifts all afternoon, which is my least favorite part of Christmas. It's just such a time suck wrapping presents. But anyway, I do them on the kitchen island, so I'm standing there the whole time. So all this extra standing, I think I just try to make sure that I'm getting in. I'm being really conscious about it because I feel like that's another thing. Rotating shoes, standing, all that good stuff.
Yep.
Something we have to just kind of be aware of before we are on our feet a lot. Because I think we're going to be on our feet a lot.
Yeah. And even though the parks are smaller, there's only 2 parks, you do a lot of walking. And I remember when I did the Star Wars race, I kind of hung out with some lizards, was hanging out with Frank. And we walked so much. And I was dealing with a bad case of plantar fasciitis. So the night before the half, I remember, and he was as well, we were walking out the park at around 10 o'clock at night because we were like, look, we don't go to Disneyland a lot. So we ignored everything. We're like, I'm going to power through because my flight's out on Sunday. Like I got, an early flight. I think I left at like 2 or something. So we're just going to stay out and do everything we can in Disney. And as we were going out, I looked at him and I was limping. He was limping worse. And I was like, we're not smart. We're not wise people. Knowing is half the battle. I said, but, I remember just getting back to the room and just saying, I just got to do something. And iced up my little feet for a little bit. And I think he did as well. And we were able to power through. But to your point, Jody, it was just so much walking in the park. And you would think, small park. No, you walk a lot still.
Yeah.
And you're staying in line a lot.
Yeah.
At Disneyland.
And you've got that temptation because you've got park hopping.
Mm-hmm.
Where again, at Disney World, it's a kind of a hassle to park hop. You got to take a bus, you got to get in your car, you got to change like it's an ordeal. There, it's like, well, it's just right there. I can see it. Like I can see over there. I can go over there. So, yeah.
So yeah.
So before we wrap up for night, what's one piece of advice you can give to our running friends as we're entering the holidays, just to kind of get through the holidays before they head down to their either Florida or California here in the next few weeks? Any good advice for them?
Jody, ladies first.
I think still try to find time to enjoy the holidays. Like, listen, my mom and I baked on Monday and we made 15 different types of cookies. And there's cookies in my house everywhere. And I'm not going to deny myself those cookies because I love them. And that happens once a year. So am I going to make sure that I drink a little extra water for the cookies? Am I maybe going to have a salad for lunch instead of a cheeseburger because I ate all the cookies? Maybe I'll try to balance it out a little bit. But, it's still the holidays. So don't torture yourself by thinking like, I can't enjoy stuff because I've got these big races coming up. Still find time for the enjoyment. Like you put all we've been training since June or July or however long. Like we're good. Everybody's good. So find time to be in the moment and enjoy everything else that you have going on. And don't stress so much about the results in January because we're going to be fine. Everybody's going to be okay. We're going to all lace up our sneakers and we're all going to cheer each other on and give encouragement and everything's going to be okay. So.
Yeah. I echo that. I think that's a great piece of advice. My only thing I would add to that is, and just to piggyback on it, you're better off than you think you are, right? So don't second guess yourself. When you get down there, try to meet some people, have some fun, right? If you're a part of a running group or you listen to something like the Lizards and it may be intimidating or things of that nature, if you go down there and you're like, I don't want to, show up and meet anybody in the parking lot at 4 o'clock in the morning. We've read stories on that. That's how Dateline episodes usually start. No, go down there, just, make yourself friendly, introduce yourself and just take in this wonderful community. Runners are a special breed of people. They really are. It's the craziest thing, right? But it's always better when you run, to me, with someone, right? And you don't have to run with them every time and all that kind of stuff, but just to start off a race with some people, that's always awesome. So take it all in. You trained a lot for it. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to have fun. Just, have memories.
Yep, I couldn't say it any better. Enjoy the holidays. Don't stress about the runs you missed over the last 8 months. There's nothing you can do about it. So you're already past it. The hay's in the barn. So this is just enjoy this time, enjoy the family time, rest up. Don't try to make up for the runs that you missed in the next 3 weeks. It's not going to do anything but frustrate you, potentially hurt you. The benefit's not there that you would think it could be there. So just roll into the taper, enjoy it, enjoy the time off, enjoy the holidays, enjoy the family, and we'll see everybody here in a few weeks. Either Jody and the Benning family occasionally down at Disney World, and the majority of the ducks will be flying west for California in the next few weeks.
It's taper time. It's
Don't eat the
most
cheese.
wonderful time of the year.
See,
There
she
you
does
go.
sing.
Time.
Mm-hmm.
It's taper time.
She showed up perfect in time to do that. There you go.
I know. Perfect.
So, well, if nobody else has anything else to add from all of us here at the Duck family this year, like I said, this will be the last live broadcast prior to heading into the holiday season. It'll show up in the feeds tomorrow morning, hopefully, or sooner if I can get it done before we start recording again. So for all of us here, the ones who couldn't make it, we wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And just remember that forward is a pace, everybody.
Bye, everyone.